Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. We are going to be jumping in and talking about the Superman castings. For Superman Legacy, Superman and Lois Lane have been cast. James Gunn has confirmed. And then we also have another video coming up here in shortly that is Superman and Lois, not those casted Superman and Lois, a different Superman and Lois on the CW Season 3 finale. We'll dive into that. But I am Jordan, and with me, as always, is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
I'm tired, but I'm a good mix of excited and tired. So I'm totally ready to talk about all of the Kryptonian goodness.
Yeah, so we'll just spend a little bit of time here talking about the news. This broke a couple days ago, Tuesday. It broke on Tuesday or Monday. I can't remember.
It was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Yes, it was Tuesday. Um, they had over the weekend they had put out, how the screen tests were going. It was not this weekend. It was the weekend previous that they did this Father's Day weekend that they tested, and then I guess that leaked on the weekend. And James Gunn had said he was close to casting on somebody's response on Blue Sky, whatever. I don't have access to that yet. It's a wait list. It's like a Twitter thing. But from the screenshots I saw, James Gunn said he was close to casting. That was like maybe midweek. It was before this news broke of the screen testing. And the screen testing news broke, and it was like, what, David Cornsweet got paired with Emma Mackey. Phoebe Denevor was linked with, I think, like Tom Brittney or Nicholas Hoult, and then Rachel Brosnahan was mixed with the other one, either Nicholas Hoult or Tom Brittney. And then they said that was on a Saturday, and then on the Sunday they were like, well, all three men came back, but only Emma Mackey had stayed. And that could have been convenience, or it could have been them wanting to see. But the way people were saying, like in the article when it said that, they were like, this could mean nothing, but usually when that's the case, that means they found their person. So, I was messaging you, Chris, and I said, it sounds like Emma Mackey might be it. We were very pro Brosnahan.
Mm-hmm.
And literally like 2 days after that, the day after that, something like that, that they announced, I think Hollywood Reporter Boris Kitt put out that David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan are the picks for Superman and Lois. So I actually felt pretty good it was going to be Cornsweet, right? But I was shocked by the Brosnahan thing. Then after all the Emma Mackey news, she seemed to be a favorite of people on Twitter who was like really pushing for her. And I just know that when we spoke, we both pretty much agreed on these two, and these are the
Mm-hmm.
two that are picked. So I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, they definitely look the part. I'm really excited about it. I really liked Marvelous Miss Maisel. I thought that was a period piece, of course, but there's no doubt in my mind that she can play Lois Lane. And she's an Emmy-winning actress, brings some star power, and she's a little older than David Cornsweet, so it checks all the boxes for me. I really like what we got with Lois Lane, and you know what? I'm excited about David Cornsweet. He's relatively unknown for me. I've seen him. I've seen a couple clips that are going around, and I'm interested to see some of his work, but yeah, I'm excited. This is what I wanted. I thought Corn Sweat was going to run away with this thing. Nicholas Hoult just doesn't give off Superman energy. So, to me, it was if it came down to between Nicholas Hoult and Corn Sweat looks like the young, optimistic choice, which is exactly what Gunn seems to be going for.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the, I saw a lot of people upset Brosnahan was picked. Not maybe like upset, but they were like, "Damn, I was really wanting Emma Mackey." And Justin Kroll from not Hollywood Reporter. He's from Variety or one of the other trades. He put out a tweet saying, like, everybody's talking about David Cornsweet, but the big thing that he had heard was that Rachel Brosnahan put together like the best audition out of anyone, Superman or Lois, I think is kind of what he was trying to get at here, and that she just blew them all away immediately. So yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about this because I feel like I know we didn't have anything to do with it, but just the fact that it was the ones
It's
we
all
wanted.
us.
It's the
It's all
first
us.
time. It's the first time I think I ever said like, "Oh, I want that person in a role," and it actually happened. So I feel pretty good. Like I remember when the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies were being made. It was like probably a few weeks before they were announced or something, and I said Jude Law would be a perfect Sherlock Holmes. He's tall. He's got like the thin build. Like put a deerstalking cap on him and a pipe, and he's Sherlock Holmes. And then they announce he's cast as Watson to RGJ's Sherlock, and I was like, oh, I was so close. Like I really felt like he would have been a really good Sherlock. But so this is a win in my opinion. I think it is really good. He talked about wanting to be Superman. What back like years ago? Somebody asked like what type of role he would like. He said like he liked Henry Cavill's darker, grittier Superman, but he hopes the next one is like really bright and optimistic, and that is a dream role of his. And here he is. That's just like it's like when Tom Holland was cast as Spider-Man, and you have like the pictures of him playing as with Spider-Man toys and stuff as a kid and all that kind of stuff. It just makes you feel good that this is, that he got his dream. We all kind of have dreams of what we want to be when we grow up, and he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, this is a big break for him. This is the thing that's going to make him memorable forever. When you think of Superman, you think Christopher Reeves, Henry Cavill, even Dean Cain is memorable for Superman, and that shows you how powerful this character is. That he's even on the radar when you talk about superhero performances. So, yeah, the biggest complaint I keep seeing is that he looks too much like Henry Cavill, and I find it a little ridiculous because they both kind of look like Superman.
Yeah, I don't think he looks that much like Cavill. I think he just has the Superman look. I think
That's
is
the
the
thing.
clearest thing there.
He looks a lot like Brandon Ralph, Henry Cavill. You know, there's a type here.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw some of the Cavill fans making fun of the way he looks, saying he's not built enough. I mean, look, this dude's bigger than me. I'll tell you that much. He's built
He's
better
6'4".
than me. Six
He's
foot
what
four, yeah.
you would call in the NFL draft terms raw, full of potential. Henry Cavill wasn't jacked when he got
No, yeah.
cast to be
People started
Superman.
circulating pictures of him in the
Hmm.
Reeve suit, and yeah, he looks a little bit, smaller back then.
He's going to go on the Thor diet. He's going to get those protein shakes in. He's going to be eating a lot of food, and he's going to be working out like a madman. And they're going to pat him up a little bit. So I have no reservations. What I really think
Mhm.
is important is the focus seems to be on Clark. And when they did the testings, they did the testings with Clark and Lois first, and then
And then
Superman
Superman and
and
Lois.
Lois.
Yes, yep.
And that to me is important because from the beginning, it's baked into the idea that it's important that the Clark distinction matters. I think that was one of the biggest missteps of Henry Cavill's Superman era is not enough Clark. And if we can get a Clark that hits the same notes as a Tyler Hoechlin or a Tom Welling, I think we've got what we need.
Yeah, really. Look, we just talked about Man of Steel, but when you look at him as Clark, it's literally the the beginning of the movie when he's a kid, and then he kind of becomes Superman before establishing his secret identity at the Daily Planet. And then BVS, we have like the scene where he goes reporting and snooping on Bruce. And then that's it. Because Justice League, he comes back like near the end of the movie. So like we barely did have any Clark throughout the previous iteration. So I'm hoping that, you know, we get a good focus on Clark. I think we will, with the way that you said that, you know, that they test it like a Daily Planet scene, and then I guess like a saving or superhero chat scene with Lois. So sounds great. I'm really excited for this. This is coming July. You know, like you said, he has time to beef up. They're supposed to start filming in like January. But if the writer strike and the screen actors strike, then this is going to be pushed back a bit. So he's got time.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because James Gunn already has the script written. Of course, that doesn't mean it's immune from the WGA strike because he's part of all that. But you got to think if there's a guy who can push through this, is a guy who's already gotten the script written before all this even went down. So that could be something that plays in their favor. I don't really care if it's out July 11th, 2025. If it's August, if it's November, that's fine. Personally, I'd like it to be November 8th, my birthday. I think that would be really cool. 2025. Just putting it out there. It's just totally acceptable to me.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll take it in July because that's closer to my birthday. So I will gladly take it then. It's very exciting knowing that we are kind of back in the build up to this. I remember the Henry Cavill casting, and you know, seeing the first released photo of him in the suit, which is when he get like hit into the bank or whatever. That kind of stuff is so much fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to kind of be starting over again, I guess. Is
Well,
a
we
way to
need to
say it.
start over.
Yeah,
DCU. So the biggest thing that we need here is the DCU needs to be a brand, and we need to distinguish the DCU for the DCEU, and we need to market the living daylights out of Corn Sweat and Brosnan. We need to market the living daylights out of the DCU because if we do that, people are going to get. There's enough time in between the Flash bombing and Blue Beetle probably bombing. There's enough time between all that, and the only thing you have in between this is Joker Folie à Deux.
yeah, yeah.
So,
2024 is a huge break year. So people that want this pushed
mhm.
back, I think, are a little short sighted. You have Joker as the only DC property next year, and that's it. Like that's all you have to worry about is
DC
Joker.
fans are going to be starving.
Yeah. I mean, you'll maybe get. I think we will get like Creature Comfort, not Creature Comforts, Creature Commandos on Max at that point. But again, the amount of people that are going to watch that very small uh, percentage that are
It's
going to
not going to
watch a
be like
cartoon.
Peacemaker where it's a surprise hit. It's
Right.
going to
Right.
be a niche audience. And I'll tell you this right now. The the DC fans are going to be desperate for more DC movies by the time Superman Legacy comes out, and nobody's going to remember The Flash. It's just not going to be in the conversation. This movie is going to go to streaming, and it's just not going to be in the conversation. It's going to fade into nothingness. And all of the negative energy that you have right now about the DCEU doesn't matter. So if you brand the DCU right, I mean, dude, it's a whole new ballgame.
And they will. I think, you know, they'll be on talk shows. These two are going to be on talk shows when it gets close. They're going to be um, everywhere. If they do a Comic Con, they're going to be there. They're going to unveil them. They're probably going to release a still of him in the suit when they're filming. And people are going to say, that doesn't look like Henry Cavill's suit. So they'll kind of start to realize that this is a different. And you know what? Too, people are used to this when it comes to specifically Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. There have been so many of those actors now and iterations now where they'll be like, oh, so this person's playing Superman this time. Awesome. Like they're not going to get all hung up by stuff that certain people do. I mean, if you ask people their favorite Batman, you get wide ranges of answers. If you ask people their favorite Superman, you probably get 2, maybe 3 answers there. But
well, I think Tyler Hoechlin's getting into that conversation, but I think it's usually Christopher Reeve or Henry Cavill. So.
Yeah, because those are the ones most people watched. If you just look at numbers, right? Like even though Superman and Lois is a popular show, we're going to talk about that later. But it is a network TV show. It is seen by
the
less
general
people.
audience is Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
I think even over Henry Cavill, the general audience knows Christopher Reeves.